Hello, hello, hello.
GM.
Everybody.
Yo, it is Monday. I had a great weekend. How about you, Jeremy?
It's bright and beautiful outside. No, not really. It was raining yesterday. It was it even snowed a little bit, like sleeted a little bit over here. And I don't know what's happening this weekend with the weather, but besides the weather, everything's been pretty good. Hung out with some friends on Saturday, went to the Mavs game.
Ooh.
Got to see them win by 1. That was nice. And
I saw you had that box too. You're in that suite.
Then I had the Bored Ape hoodie on again, but then I had the jersey over it.
Oh, okay, so no one came up to you to ask you about your Bored Ape.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Nah.
we're still early then.
We're early.
That's how you know we're early. That's good. I wish I lived closer to NBA Arena. I'm just like 4 hours away from the closest one.
Dang.
But yeah, you said snow. Yesterday we got like 4 or 6 inches of snow, and it's just I'm tired of it. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for good weather. I'm ready to get out of the house, get some fresh air. But yeah, hopefully everyone's having a good morning, a good Monday. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. Let us know how it was.
Yeah. And him totally said why, and I think he's talking about the jersey. I got the Optic Gaming jersey here. Had to represent after they clutched up yesterday. They went and won the whole thing. That was here in Fort Worth and Arlington at the Esports Stadium. It was the first COD tournament of the season. Optic took home the crown. Had to represent.
Hey, there you go. I don't know any of that, so I'm gonna let you and him totally share that experience together, and I'm just gonna smile and just nod and say, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, good for them. I'm happy for you, or sad that happened. But let's do our usual. Let's jump into a market update, and it's gonna be kind of, I guess, a spicy one because it is it is not great.
Let's check it out.
Let's pull this up. And so we've got, there we go. All right, so we've got, let me refresh this to make sure it's all up to date. I don't remember right when I refreshed it. So if we're gonna look at the green, let's talk about the good part first. There's not a lot. I mean, you look, you see these lists of projects. There's not really any notable ones. Like I guess Quirkies is up pretty big. Like they're up 40%, which is huge for considering the weekend we had, and they're at basically 0.7.
I mean, look at all of those projects, and Kaiju Kings is the first one over in ETH.
Right, exactly.
So these are all still like very low market cap projects where any type of movement can cause those double-digit floor changes.
Got these 24-hour volumes. We got like 1.3 ETH 24-hour volume. It's just like nothing. It's 0.22 ETH. There's just not a lot of volume, and we only have to scroll down a little bit before we get to red. So there's only 30 projects that are in the green, and out of the 30, maybe a handful are actually notable that people would actually own or be invested in, or actually care about. But Quirkies is the big one. I'm not sure what caused their pump. That's actually what I've been looking at for a while now. I know we talked about it on stream a few streams ago because they've been kind of slowly moving up. I remember we did the reveal. You like the colors? They got that pastel color scheme that everyone kind of vibes with. They released some I think some skater video that was pretty well done. So maybe I don't know if there was anything else announced that causes pump, but if anyone has Quirkies, hey, props to you. But if we go to the juicy side, let's flip it over. Now we see some projects that we know and love. Obviously, we're not going to talk about all of these because it's it'll take the whole stream. But just some quick ones I wanted to hit on. We've got MFers are down. Let's see.
Why are they really down though?
they've been from 6th they're down bad. They are down real bad. But
they are down.
So I wanted to talk about NFT worlds. They're down to 7.8. We saw these hit 18 ETH I think as early as last week. They had that airdrop, and then it's just been going downhill since then. I know that we were talking about Metaverse land and purchasing. Is this a good time that maybe you're looking into buy some Metaverse land in the market dip? Or are you just kind of watching, letting everything dip and seeing how low it can go?
I follow a couple people who research Metaverse land and market and tell you whether it's bear, bullish, stuff like that. I think there's one called MLK, like milk. I think it's called like Milk Honey Land or something like that. Right. They do a pretty good job at evaluations. But yeah, I'm just trying to make up my mind because like you said, pretty much Metaverse lands are on discount from what they have been in the past. But at the same time, we see all these big IPs coming in, and it's like, okay, what are they going to be able to do? Now, not each one of them is maybe not have their own metaverse, or maybe they do, but it's small and it's like player capped, and there's so many restrictions, blah blah blah. So that's where I'm kind of battling. Is like, okay, the OG metaverses that are on discount right now versus the potential new wave of players, but that's always going to be there, right? Like, there's always going to be potentially somebody bigger and better.
Yeah.
So right now I'm kind of just going through, seeing, okay, which ones do I think are going to last long term? Which ones do I think are going to can be acquired long term? So for me, it's still just the top two, like Sandbox and Decentraland.
Right.
All the other ones are like a riskier play. For me, it's still pretty solid, but I'm thinking about hopping into to one of those two.
Yeah, Sandbox and Decentraland, they've just been around for so long. The other ones are so new that they're going to be a lot more volatile. Absolutely. I'm still just. I think I'm more bearish on Metaverse lands than you are in general, so I'm not touching anything even yet. I think my hot take like 2 weeks ago was Metaverse lands are going to dip 90% by the summer, and hey, I mean everything's dipping, so I can't it's not really counted with all the events going on, but hey, we're headed that way. But we'll see. So I'm not touching them. I know a lot of people are. I know you'll be watching them, but yeah, I would definitely try to stick to those main two ones if I was, and just watch some of these big names coming in, these big IPs, and seeing what they can create in the NFT space. So another project that's down. And they're not really down considering that it's still a brand new project, but I think you minted these. I think you actually brought the alpha to the Discord like last year. The Cyber Brokers. Did you mint any of these?
I think that was the other Jeremy, because I don't know. Maybe I did, but it was so long ago that I don't think I did.
I thought someone said that you were the one that shared like a link to sign up for it. It was like 6 months ago, but I know this was popular in one of our Discord. In one of our Discords, people minted these. And they got up to, I think they almost touched like 2 ETH like over the weekend. They had a pretty big
Yeah.
pump. You know, they're people were really vibing with them. They're real popular. Their files, like their images, are just super high res. It's all on chain, and yeah, I think people were just vibing with them, and they got up to 2 ETH. But now that we can kind of see them come back down to earth a little bit. You know, they're back down 20%, back to 1.4.
I don't know about the details of it, but I did know that, yeah, the vibe was there for sure. It was like some Valorant style art, to be honest. So it looked dope from a visual standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last project I wanted us to hit on, and this one's gonna hit close to home. this one's not fun to talk about, but they're on this list that we can see. If we look at the very bottom, we can see BAYC. They are down almost 12%. That's the biggest drop off I've seen in a 24-hour period for Bored Apes in a long time. You know, I think I went to bed last night and they were like in the high 70s, and then woke up and they're in the 60s. So they're at 68 ETH. Yeah, that's a pretty big drop off considering we just saw an all-time high for apes like 2 months ago, or I think it was 2 months at the end. I think it was the end of January, heading into February. End of January, their all-time high was like around 120 ETH, and now they're almost down 50% from that all-time high. What's your? I mean, I know you're an ape holder. I'm an ape holder. Are you kind of worried? Or are you just like, hey, this is the market. Market's gonna market, and here we are.
No, I sold yesterday, so I'm not even an ape holder. No.
Yeah, there you go. You took an offer for like 50 ETH, right?
Yeah. No, that's pretty tough to see, but at the same time, like, we've been there. Not these same numbers, but we've been up to like 60, went down to 35. So
Right.
We've been through it before. You know, we knew to expect ups and downs, but you know, this is a huge swing. But again, I think it just goes back to the people whose hands that they're getting into now are all like bigger believers than before.
Yep.
And I'm not going to say like that's going to continue to, you know, make the price go up, but it's just letting more diamond handers get in. So there'll be less of a supply.
Yeah, and I was looking more in depth at it earlier, and it's really only been like it's still a pretty thin floor for them to get to 80. They need like 12 sales. They're back to 80, which isn't terrible. But I was looking at like the rarity differences, like some of the rare traits. The rare traits are still holding up in price. So I think we're starting to see that. I think this is a healthy pullback, but we're also seeing the rarer traits. They're still holding their value.
Yeah.
But we see that with punks. Like the punks floor has been 60 to 70 for the last few months now, and but the rare traits for punks, that holds a super premium over the floor. Like a hoodie punk is like 200, 300 ETH, right? So I think we're starting to get to that point with the Bored Apes where we start seeing those rare traits are going to have that much more of a premium over the floor, because there was a time at the end of January where we saw a floor ape selling for 120 and then a rare trait ape selling for like 140, 150. Like those are it was too close, and kind of the writing was on the wall that those are too close, and there should have been some separation either way. And it looks like the separation was the floor retracing back down to a more reasonable price, but those rare apes are still going to hold that premium and hold that price, which I think is healthy. I think it's a good sign. Not everything's dumping. It's just really the floor.
What I would like to see is some analysis on who's selling below, roughly 100, 110, because is it the people who minted or got in super cheap versus the people who bought, at 100 plus?
Right.
So that's kind of the breakdown that I'd like to see there.
Well, I did put a screenshot in the Discord earlier of someone. We're not doing a paper hand segment today. We're gonna save everyone that. But someone did buy I saw they bought 2 Bored Apes at 115. I think that was the floor at the time, and they sold them both this morning for 70 ETH. And they bought that like a month ago. So at least in that case, that person was the one that bought the top, and now they're selling maybe the bottom. But it's probably a mix. I would assume it's a lot of holders that bought earlier on that maybe they think they missed the top, and then now they're just trying to get out and just secure a profit while they can, just to be safe. World events going on, people have no idea. They just want to maybe take a safe play, sell a big asset, and just kind of hold it for now. Which I don't blame them. I'm never going to fault anyone for selling. Everyone has their own reasons. Cool. Well, that is kind of the market update. We're going to keep following this on Wednesday. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it turns around or if it just stays red. I don't know. But I wanted to revisit something we talked about on Friday, and I wanted to see if you heard about this, because this is, I guess, in my Who Did It Worse segment last Friday, we talked about Ty Lopez. Ty Lopez, and he's been the talk of NFT Twitter for the last 72 hours, pretty much. I gave like a brief description of his NFT project, but I didn't really look too in depth into it until after the stream. So I didn't realize this was a thing. But have you ever heard of an increasing Dutch auction?
No. I mean, for me, I thought Dutch auctions were just always setting that price high and then watching it go low. But I mean, I guess it could make sense.
Yeah, I mean, so they've added, since they got so much pullback over the weekend, they've taken down the prices. But they did their Dutch auction was an ascending Dutch auction for his one-on-one NFTs. Yeah. So I think people thought that they were auctions. So you kept seeing the price it started at like 9 ETH and it would go up to 15 to 17 to 30, and people were wondering like, are people bidding on this? What's going on? But it turns out it's an ascending Dutch auction, which I think that's very strange, right? Like I haven't seen this before. It's kind of it kind of plays into that like a FOMO ramp like type of sale. Like you want to FOMO people into making them buy it early on, or otherwise they're going to have to pay more. But they ended up only selling one of his, out of all of his one-on-one cards, he only ended up selling one, and it was a FaceTime call. That was the only thing that sold. Everything else just...
That person's probably going to troll, too.
That FaceTime call, I looked into, someone bought it for like 3.15 ETH, I think is what it was. And I read the details, and you may be able to see here. Yeah, so you get 1 5-minute FaceTime session per year.
Oh, yeah. Yep, good value.
So, but yeah, I wanted to bring this up because I've never seen an ascending Dutch auction. I think it's a kind of, I don't think it's the best tactic. I don't agree with it, but there we are. But I will give Ty props. He took a beating on Twitter, right? Like we all saw it. He was just taking a beating after beating. Just tweets coming after him. He, I guess, turned into like memeing on some of it and kind of handling it decently well. I think, I don't know if it was him or his team doing it, but I got to point out one tweet that he just completely buried someone. One of the quote influencers around NFTs is Farouk, and Farouk tweeted about Ty Lopez on Friday. Basically calling him out for his NFT, calling it like trash, scam, whatever you wanted to say. And then Ty quote tweets him and says, if you buy my NFT, you can come to another one of my pool parties. And there's a picture of, a post that Farouk posted in 2016 of him at one of Ty's parties.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, it's one of the things where, we don't really root for either of them. It's just kind of nice to see. I just thought it was funny, really ironic that, people that are calling out Ty are basically the same people, right? It's more in their favor to be against him now than it was before.
I mean, yeah, I kind of understood like Farouk's side from this. Like he explained the situation, like why he was there and stuff like that. So yeah, but I don't really get too much involved in all of that, but. Yeah, it was pretty funny for Ty to clap back at him like that. But if you read more into it, it's just like, it was pretty weak.
I thought it was funny. Someone, one of the better tweets I saw over the weekend was someone put a screenshot of just like a string of tweets, and all of them were just like hidden. This person's been muted by you. And the comment was, it looks like Farouk and Ty are going back and forth, and it was just like they had all the tweets hidden, muted. Pretty ironic. That's probably the best approach to handle NFT influencers, honestly. Is just mute them and just move on with your day. But speaking of moving on, so a few streams ago, I can't remember when, you have your proof collective, and I want you to kind of walk us through this. What was we looked at all these art pieces, so we didn't know the artists. So I think we had those revealed over Saturday, but kind of walk me through your decision. I know you picked one, and then we can kind of go through the artists that were revealed, and we can just see what we think about them all.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Let's see. Share your screen. Window. All right. So, and then I guess we'll throw up a little banner. Let's see. Grails, reveal, and recap. Cool. So I'm not sure if anybody else in the chat has a proof. I know Screen does. Now I'm not sure if anybody else does. To be honest, he's the only one that talks to me about it. But what Grails is a curated kind of art collection from the Proof Collective, Kevin Rose and Ryan Carson. And they put together 20 artists who created 20 unique pieces of art, with Grails being the theme. And what this was like a 7-day minting period where all of these pieces were unrevealed in terms of who the artist was. And they revealed over time before the mint, though. So, like, by the time the mint took place, we could see all 20 pieces. But they slowly, like, unveiled themselves over time. And then even at the time of mint, we did not know who the artists were until this Saturday. So with that being said, some of you guys, or all of these guys, are recognizable, but maybe not to every single one of us. But starting off right off the bat, we have Mr. Gary V right here.
Yo,
so
he's one of the top NFT artists of all time, right? He made the list.
20 artists. And they selected Gary V. I mean, I'm gonna need y'all to go and revisit that poll, because this just kind of proves to me that I made a pretty good selection taking Gary V number 5. So if we go, I don't even know. If we look at highest last sale, and look, Gary V piece sold for 15 ETH from a 0.05 mint. And then I don't know how to say this guy's name. I'm not sure if it's like Lucre or Lucrace. I don't know. We have Yas and different Yas, but Yasner. Rachel, Ryle. This one, Gray. She made this in Google Sheets. So completely in Google Sheets and animated in Google Sheets. That's
impressive.
Yeah, I think some color stuff was kind of done in Photoshop. Not the coloring, but in terms of contrast and blah blah blah, like all that was done in Photoshop. But everything else was done in Google Sheets. That's pretty crazy. We got Hackatow in here, another one of my picks. Mike Shinoda. Mike Shinoda, for those of you who don't know, the music producer. He's also an artist. Grimplin, Tyler Hobbs with The Wall. Mm-hmm. Dimitri Cherniak, which is also I'm pretty sure he's the same artist as The Ringers.
He is, yep. I see a little Larva Labs up there too. That's
Yeah. Larva Labs, Sarah Zucker, and then Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss's Genesis art piece, by the way. Or sorry, Genesis NFT. Tim Ferriss's Genesis NFT with a story in it. You could actually open this image, zoom up, and read the story, which has something to do about like conflicting morals or something like that. I heard it was a good read, so I definitely probably gonna take a look at that today. We have I don't know why they put this, but this is Xcopy actually. That's Xcopy's piece. So the one that I decided to mint, and I'm not sure why they took the numbers away, because in the minting there was the numbers about how many were already minted and whatnot. But chat on what the heck happened there?
I know.
Sorry chat. Our the application that we used was not showing your messages, so we were not with you guys. Anyways, I decided to mint Dreamloaf, and my thing was it was pretty low at the time. I think it had 12 or 13, and I was one of the last to mint. And I just decided, hey, I vibe with the colors, and who doesn't love cats? And it's like gave me huge Miami vibes. I'm like, all right.
Dork God says back, and Toy says, we back. All right, I think we back. And then he says JK. Go. I don't know if we're actually back or not. So, Screen says we're back. I think we're back.
I think they're having connection issues.
Yeah.
StreamYard. Let me throw up my screen again. Oh,
Here, I've got the.
maybe. Whoops, sorry.
No, you're good. We're doing the same thing.
Yeah, so that's why I went with Dream Love. I
Okay.
don't know what the price is. I don't really care. Like, I just wanted my cat, and it looks dope. The
Yeah.
other one that I truly wanted was this Hakatao, but it was one of the most popular ones. Like, it was minting. It was like the number one minted, so I couldn't go with it.
Do you think people knew that that one was Hackatow, or do you think they thought that maybe that was a next copy?
Nah, I think they were pretty confident on that one. They were pretty confident on this. They were confident on X copy. They were confident on this Lucre, whatever. Which other one were they?
So I think whenever if I remember, I think I remembered picking, like you asked me which one I would pick, and I think I picked that robot one, the one that ended up being X copy. The
Yeah.
choices, yeah.
That was a good one.
But I think I mean, I know that everyone talks about prices and stuff, but what ended up being the actual Grail piece? Like, let's say you wanted to min max it, you wanted to pick the one that's worth the absolute most. What is the one that's selling for the most right now?
I mean, I guess it's this Larva Labs one. So the Protoglyph, and the last two sales were 80 and 75 ETH for it. And then the wall is, I mean, not really a close second, but it is second. You can see 6 sales here, ranging anywhere from a 17 ETH offer to a 32.5 buy. That was by Tyler Hobbs. Yeah, so that was the Grail. It was a pretty cool reveal process, just overall. It was like just really well done mechanics.
Yeah.
Having the art revealed slowly over time. The mint passes by via the Proof Collective, purchasing it for 0.05, and then seeing the numbers of how many were minted. That could have even been a thing too. Like, maybe you didn't know how many were reserved. You could, even if they didn't show it on the site, you could go to OpenSea and see how many were minted. But let's say that they didn't directly mint in that moment. You just kind of like prepaid, and you didn't know what people were reserving or buying. That could have made it pretty cool. But then they even did a live stream. Ryan and Kevin did a live stream themselves on Saturday on YouTube, revealing these like one by one who the artist was, and it was pretty lit. We had like meetups, like IRL meetups to go over this stuff, so that was pretty cool too. Proof has had a lot of in-person meetups, sponsored and non-sponsored. So
Where's that located at? Like the meetups that they had?
everywhere, just like LA, NYC, Austin, Dallas, Miami.
That's cool. That's so awesome. Like, whenever I was talking, the stream cut out, so I don't know how much was said, but I really love this process. Like you just present these pieces of art and just have people choose it. You don't know who the artist is. It's easy for people to speculate. Who's who maybe, but you never know for sure. And so you're really picking something based off of what you vibe with the art, not just the name behind it. So I really like this style, and I'd be curious to see more of this format and more of this style of drop come out in the future. I'd like to try to be a part of one and see this, but yeah, I really like that style of drop. It's really unique.
Yeah, there will be a Grails too. So we had like a not a conference, but just a stage where they had a presentation on something that they called Future Proof, which is basically their keynote on all things Proof Collective. And what they hinted at was like there's going to be, or not hinted, they literally told us there's going to be a PFP upcoming. I think it's a 20K PFP. They're going to do a Grails too. They're making their own like web, like 2D web, like metaverse, I believe. It's called like Project High Rise. And then they're going to be having their own conference, and then they're going to be showing up to conferences with sponsored events.
That's cool. So if someone wanted to get involved in this, what's the entry price for a Proof, like the original Proof Collective? I know it's pricey. I don't know off the top of my head. But,
right now it's going for 33.5 ETH.
Okay.
At the floor. Yeah. And that's pretty close to all-time high. I think I've seen a couple 38s or maybe a 42 sale go through before, but right now it's at 33.5. We had like emotes mint, and then we had this Grails mint, which in total probably got about 40 to 50 out of it, depending on when you sold.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the next thing, if you don't want to buy Proof Collective, and that's why I mentioned the PFPs in the first place, is like they plan to have the PFPs be, another entry or exposure to proof without having to buy this proof collective piece.
Right.
Because there's only 1,000 of these, so there's only so much that you can do with 1,000 members. So like extending, growing the family via the PFP, it seems like a good strategy, but we'll see how it goes. Because in the NFT world, stuff changes so fast. We don't even know if like PFPs will be relevant in 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah, it's cool. Super cool project. Really, really cool concept. It's gonna be nice to follow. I'm gonna be living vicariously through you. Basically, my experience. I'm not gonna go out and buy a proof collective pass, but I'll be following it because you have one, and you're gonna keep me updated with it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's just one of the more interesting projects out there. I like it. So let's move on to a little Veefriends. We talked about Gary V, top artist of all time, right? So he's just out there creating. He's there just doodling away. He's just slaving over his art station, just making some more characters. And so they announced over the weekend. I don't know if it was on Friday or Saturday, but they announced that they're going to be releasing, Veefriends V2. It's like I think it's 15 new characters, 55,000 in the collection.
Yeah.
I don't have a Veefriend. I've never had a Veefriend. I've never followed this stuff too closely. I did buy 12 books. So I've got one of the book game NFTs. That's my only exposure to Gary V. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we saw this news break. Was the writing on the wall? Was this expected to happen, or did this kind of come out of nowhere?
No, I think it was all expected. Just we didn't know the details. So they were telling us like for a while that book games they're not going to get you guaranteed access to Veefriends 2, but you're gonna need to have book games to even be eligible throughout their mechanics.
Right.
So you were not going to get a Veefriends season 2 or part 2 without having a book game. But now we have the exact details.
Yeah. So I think I saw they're taking like 32,000. They're taking a snapshot, and I think they're using Chainlink VRF or some way to determine which book games get access to a mint of Veefriends V2.
Yeah.
I think they get to mint it for free, right? If on that snapshot. Or
the raffle one where they're taking the snapshot of 32,000. They don't get it for free, but they get to mint it 12 and a half days before the public sale.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
And then during the public sale, it's quote unquote public, but you have to own book games and a book games NFT to access that sale, correct?
That part, the public part, I'm actually not sure about, but I know the price and the supply and the way the raffles work. And then also that Veefriends 2, they will not get you access to VCon. So that was something where people were a little bit skeptical on, like we don't know which way they were going to lean. But then they came out and said, like, Veefriends 2 will not get you access to VCon.
That's interesting. I always thought that was weird that Gary V rented out the Minnesota Viking Stadium for VCon, and you think that like that's big enough to have all of the holders there, but it's weird to me that he rented out such a big event just for the Series 1, the V1 holders. So I feel like there has to be some more gamification moving forward that's gonna allow more people to show up to that.
I have to go look back at that, but I think the Series 1 holders, I think they got multiple tickets, so that was a way to scale.
That's right. Like I said, I'm not involved in Veefriends. I don't know too much about it. I just know from the outside. But I think that's, now that you say that, I think I remember hearing that.
Yeah, but your point still stands a little bit. Is it is a big venue, but at the same time, I guess they're using a lot of the space for speakers and having their own things. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, VCon, I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty lit at the moment. I definitely wanted to go. We'll see how ticket prices shake out, because Series 1 Veefriends basically can determine the ticket price now. But if it's not exorbitant or anything like that, like crazy high or expensive, then I'd probably find myself going.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to talk about, so the Gary V, he's got like, this is gonna be his kind of third NFT set, right? If you count Veefriends V1, and then you count, the book games tokens, and then now you've got Veefriends V2. I guess I just want to see like what your general thoughts are just for him having such a large supply, this many NFTs in such sort of span. Has he delivered much on? I mean, I know Gary Vee is great for the space and all, but also it's like 55,000 is a large supply to ask people to mint and throw more money at without, we haven't even seen one VCon yet, right? Which was the main purpose or one of the main purposes for the Veefriends V1. Do you have any thoughts on his supply, like how many NFTs he's pushing out, and kind of like it's kind of like a Punks comic like scenario where he's kind of FOMOing you into holding it to get more access in the future?
Yeah, I mean, for somebody like Gary Vee, I think this is, okay, but just because he seems to be at least thoughtful about it, or his team seems to be thoughtful about it, like they're not, Veefriends Series 2 is not going to get the same benefits. Like obviously we don't even get like VCon access through that.
Right.
So, but because his network is so wide and there's so much demand to be a part of Gary Vee NFT projects, but not really a good entry point. This is kind of that balance between doing right by your season 1 holders, but at the same time allowing your other supporters to get in who may have even not even known about NFTs in series 1 and maybe don't have the bankroll to be a supporter. So this is like another second chance. And again, just because of his popularity and celebrity status, like 55,000 is still not even enough. So again, there's just a balance there. Okay, different tier of benefits, different entry price, and then still not making 200,000 to go and oversaturate it or like market shock or anything like that. There's still going to be more people than that amount that want to be involved in Gary Vee's NFT projects.
Right. Are you holding any book games tokens right now?
Yeah, I believe I have 2 or 3.
Okay.
I think it's 2. And then one other thing about that, just to finish that off, was about the entry price. It's guaranteed to be pegged at $1,000 or less for the Veefriends 2. So pretty reasonable number, to be honest.
Yeah. So what's your play right now? Are you holding on to your book games, waiting for the snapshot, or are you kind of selling into the pump? Because I'm looking at this price right now. I've got Token Trove pulled up, and the book games floor is 0.42 right now, which is I've got it pulled right here. So it's 0.42, which is insane because I think is this the actual supply? 124,000.
Yeah. That's the supply. Oh, well, it's 123, but I think the number shows different.
But either way, like over 100,000 supply at a 0.4 floor. That is a spicy market cap right there.
Yeah, crazy market cap. That doesn't make sense.
Because I can't see a world where obviously this is gonna happen. We're gonna have the review. We're gonna have the snapshot happen. Schiller banger coming in. We're gonna have this reveal happen, or not the reveal, the snapshot.
Yeah.
And then the mint happen, and then the book games tokens are they're gonna plummet, right? So I guess someone's thinking, like, if they hold book games, like, if you hold multiples, do you sell a couple into this? Do you hold them? If you only have one, do you just hold out and wait, or do you sell? Because me personally, I just have one book games token, and I'm
your chances of getting into the snapshot.
Yeah, my chances aren't too high, so I'm kind of thinking like maybe I just maybe I just sell into this pump and just take it,
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad play. You asked me what mine is. I'm just gonna hold. I don't really care to sell it, but I know that my chances aren't that great. So the smarter thing probably would be to sell, secure the profits. But I kind of forgot about book games anyways for about a month or so, like 4 to 6 weeks. And now that they came back in the news again, I'm like, oh yeah, I have those things. So.
Yeah, I forgot how to access this website until this morning when I was like, you know what, we're gonna talk about it. I should go look up everything because I like you, I had one, but I haven't looked at it in since the first day they came out, and so I may look into maybe selling into this pump before the price drops again, just because I'm not like, I'm a Gary Vee fan. I think he's a great speaker for the space. He's a great advocate for us to go into these news channels. He's got this big following. I think he's fantastic for NFTs. But I've never been like a diehard Gary Vee supporter. I'm always going to buy what he has. I'm always going to follow his purchases. I'm always going to do XXX into whatever. So You know, since I'm not that attached to it, I'm probably just gonna try to sell and pick up a ticket to VCon, you know, on the secondary from a Veefriends holder.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my approach. But yeah, chat if you've got book games, you know, let us know. Are you holding? Are you gonna sell into it? Are you excited for V2? It's gonna be interested how it plans out. Maybe Gary V pulls us out of this bear market, right? Probably not, but we'll see. All right, and then I wanted to talk about. So we've got. This isn't like breaking news, but I kind of went under the radar a little bit, I think. But we can lead into it to talk about a whole subject, and I want to talk about like NFTs in movies. So we've seen this move from, you know, a lot of these movies or industries or these big brands are making NFTs, but we haven't really seen like an NFT project like flip to a movie or flip into something else in the real world. It's always kind of been a big brand in the real world making their own NFT project. But we are starting to see some projects that are catching some traction in the real life and in media and in showbiz. And there's three that I pulled up that just by a quick search. So the most recent one that the news broke, I think it was a week or two ago. But we got the Huxley comics.
Yeah.
I don't own any of these. I know Gokina is big on them. I think TrueCon is as well. Do you have any of the Huxleys?
Yeah, I did. I even had like a Genesis token. Like,
yeah.
did all the stuff from Comic One, and then about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I think I sold out just because I'm trying to limit the projects that I have to keep up with, and Huxley just didn't make the cut. To be honest, I think they're gonna go on to do pretty cool things. I think Ben Morrow's a fantastic artist. I think that he really has to just focus on one of his projects, though. I don't think he should spread himself too thin, but if it turns out to be Huxley, then yeah, they can be pretty big. But I did sell out of everything here.
Yeah, so that one of the news that broke is that, you know, they have like one of the producers from Marvel is turning, you know, Huxley into a feature film, which is pretty big news, right? Like an NFT, we're starting to see this transition where NFTs are making the way into the showbiz. So this was one of the news that broke. So I know TrueCon, you're probably excited to see this. Gokina was. So I think that's interesting. We also had early last year, one that people forget about. So Aku, well, yeah, one of, I think you chose Micah Johnson, right? Or,
Yep. And this was a big reason why.
Yeah. So last April, he's basically been, his NFT was optioned for, you know, film and TV. So, you know, that's probably going to make it to the big screens at some point. And then one more is the World of Woman. So we've got Reese Witherspoon. You know, she owns like a film company, and she plans on making a movie around, you know, or based on the World of Woman NFT collection, which is kind of interesting. So we're starting to see a lot of these. I wonder which one will be the first one to like release to the masses. Like, are we ever going to see any of these have like make it to the movie theaters or anything, or just going to be one of those smaller releases? It's going to be curious to
like
follow.
Like a little indie festival or something like that.
Yeah. I think it would be like indie festival type for at least a few years, and then eventually maybe, you know, it makes its way to the big screen.
Yeah, I mean, because the cost for that, the budget for that is like ridiculous to be able to get something into the national theaters, much less global. But the thing is here with NFTs, like this is pretty powerful, turning into a movie or show or whatever, because you need to be able to tell a story about your brand and your characters.
Yeah.
So maybe not all 10K, 8K, whatever it is, 20K characters make it into a movie, but it's associated with the brand. And it's great to have people on the outside understand what makes you connected to the avatar PFP that you have. So if that story can do that, then like we're not going to benefit from revenue from the movies at all, right? So I don't care if you're a Huxley holder, WoW holder, whatever it may be, you're not getting a cent from the movie. Maybe your project will, and they'll reinvest that to help, you know, your floor increase and whatnot. So they're going to reinvest that into the brand, but you're not going to see revenue from those things. So that's what people just have to be cautious about and understand. But anyways, that's okay. Like I'm okay with not getting something from the revenue of those movies because again, I want them to reinvest and like spread the word even further and tell a story because that's what's going to keep me hooked. That's what's going to introduce it to other people. And so I look forward to it. Obviously, movie industry is huge. It's undergoing a lot of innovation and change. It's kind of being toppled on its head, to be honest, in so many other models. But regardless, all that news that you just shared is really good for all those projects.
Yeah, and I think you said a huge point is, does your NFT project tell a story? Is there more, what's behind the profile picture? What's behind the collection? I see you saw Kinklefark's comment, you get switching those sides, gets back to our home places. But yeah, like what's the story? Like what's, is it well thought out? Is it just kind of thrown together just to have a story? And I kind of wanted to ask you, we can each maybe take a pick, if you wanted to see one NFT collection turned into a TV show and then one turned into a movie, which NFT collections would you put on each one that you personally would want to see?
Out of those three, or just any project?
Just any project, not just those three. We're gonna open the floodgates. You can pick any NFT project to see into a TV. One for a TV show, one for a movie. You gotta pick two.
Well, first of all, I wish Stoner Cats was a better TV show. So
much potential, right?
That's one that I own, and there's so much potential in this space right now. And so that's one that immediately comes to mind where like I just wish it was better. Shout out Mila Kunis. Hopefully she can do something there. So one that's not currently a TV show, but that has also been linked is Robotos. I think Robotos could potentially make a great kids TV show.
Okay, I should have gone first. You stole my pick.
Yeah, and Pablo Stanley, I mean, his creative mind is like he's on some other stuff. He has to be.
Yeah. Well, actually, I could have included Robotos into the pictures because he's already got that deal with Time. The Time TV Studios that they're working on a kids TV show based around that, and like you said, he's built that story around Robotos. Like they have this lore, this history of how the Robotos came to be. Why the humans don't exist anymore. That you could see a story built around it, and that'd be such a good TV show.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And to be honest, this one's kind of coming out of right field. Just because I'm limiting myself to not choose punks or Bored Apes, but I think one that could be like a great adult show and has the feel there is actually Gutter Cats.
Crypto Dads. Oh yeah, no, Gutter Cats. Yeah, sure.
Gutter Cats, yeah. With the way that they've expanded out into different species and stuff, and they already have this kind of like Chad feel, this Chad vibe to them.
No. Okay, gang.
So I think that could be a good like adult comedy series.
Maybe this should be our draft on Wednesday. Is projects we'd like to see into a movie or a TV show. Mm-hmm. So that's a nice little topic. But yeah, Robotos was my pick for TV show, and I think for movies, the obvious choice for us is Bored Apes. They have that lore built. The founders or writers or creative writers behind it. So if I'm not choosing Bored Apes, I probably would go with Azuki. I think that'd be a really cool like movie, that they can make around there and reach a different audience. I think that'd be super clean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Demon Slayer fan, or I can't say like relative to how much I watch TV, like Demon Slayer, I consider myself a big fan because it's like 60% of what I watch. So Azuki could definitely, slide right into that and be kind of like the first NFT native brand to break into anime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So chat, let us know if what do you guys think would be a good project to turn into a TV show or a movie. There's so many out there. Maybe we'll talk about this more in depth later. Like I said, maybe this will be one of our pick'ems.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Oh, one more for the movie because I said two shows. One more for the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. I'm thinking Frontier or Parallel, something in that vibe. And again, like I own both of those, but I'm saying that because it would fill that like Halo role, right? Where people love like modern sci-fi and war and whatnot. So I think one of those two brands, because I know them, they kind of fill that Halo slot.
Yeah, I could also see like Mighty Hero doing something. I think that's a low hanging fruit. They already have these core identities built out. It's not just I mean, but like superheroes, you're basically competing with Marvel and DC at that point as well. And so I think they'll always be viewed as like a wannabe for Marvel or wannabe for DC. But yeah, let's see. And I guess kind of on the same topic of this, I wanted to have a discussion about, IP and NFTs. We hear this all the time as like, oh, you own the IP for this NFT. We've released the IP. Do you think that's overrated? Do you think it's talked about too much? Like, because I don't know how many people are actually using IP on their Bored Ape or IP on their Gutter Cat or whatever the NFT may be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's slightly overrated just because it's like become the standard almost, right? Like if you're not, maybe big brands are already existing, like again Nike and Artifact or Nike and Clone X, like that made sense from a legal standpoint and everything that they're doing. Should they have tried almost any other way to do it to make the IP available to its holders? Probably, but it's still understandable. Versus like if you're a new project just starting, or maybe even a small time artist and you don't really have that grassroots like virality, where it's just super popular. I think being able to share and open up your IP like that is super powerful, because then you're one creator, right? And now you open it up to 10,000 holders. Let's say a third of them are really mid to high tier creators.
Right.
That's going to do wonders for your brand. So it's a good thing. Yes. Is it overrated? Probably, because it should just be like the new standard.
Yeah, I think it's more of like it's definitely like a wink and a nod kind of to Web3. It's like, even though you may not do anything with your IP, it's more Web3 to create something and fully release the IP to someone that buys it, and then you have no control over it. It's kind of breaking that Web 2 mentality, moving into the Web 3 where the consumer owns the product that they buy.
Yeah.
I think it kind of resembles that. And I mean, off the top of your head, what do you think are some of the best use cases we've seen so far with people using IP in their NFTs?
Dang, what's his name? What were some of the top like Twitter influencers? He's making Interleave. Do you know about Interleave?
I don't.
Interleave Studios. It's by Loopify. He's brought in some of the IP from the NFTs that brand owns, such as Bored Apes, into a TV show. And I think they have their Genesis like episode, which is called like Arcadia Trilogy. That turned out actually pretty well, considering the timeline and the budget. But that one was pretty sick, because it's probably some of the best like rendering of the Bored Apes that I've seen. What else? Oh, there's I think Timbaland invested in a Bored Apes music record group.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Not art wise, I mean not like visual art wise, but the music. Yeah. And they're able to have their IP on that label.
Yeah, I think Kanko Fark said the first one that came to my mind was Jenkins the Valet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's got to be probably like as an individual.
He built the brand around his ape, and now he's kind of not only using his ape but also empowering other people in the space to use their IP that they have been awarded to be a part of what he's building. So I think that's clear number one in my head. But yeah. Screens,
bringing in some good discussion here. It's just like Web3 IP rights are untested in terms of
right.
I guess the courtroom. And that's true. We'll see how it goes, but you don't really know unless you try. So I think that, like you said, it fits into the nature of Web3 or blockchain, decentralization and stuff. So I think it's definitely worth a try. We'll see where we are in a year or 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jenkins got to be number one individual in terms of who took their IP and made it into something. The other thing is maybe who's the founder of Manifold Studios?
Richard,
yeah. Richard, in terms of a public face, he's done really great things with his IP, and then the 3D glasses. Like this dude literally wears those glasses.
Well, at NFT NYC, his shoes were like, one was red, one was blue. Like that man, his whole identity is 3D glasses.
Yeah,
like he'd wear a shirt where one side's red, one side's blue. It's like he's owned those 3D glasses, and that's his brand, and he's built around it.
And apparently, again, we don't really know the whole truth behind it, but or sorry, the whole story behind it. But he got like multi-million-dollar offer or something for his ape, but which was like way overpriced for which one it is, and he didn't take it. And that's how much, like he said, he's tied into this identity and like how much he's trying to build it up, this IP up. So it's props to that guy.
Yeah, I think that was a marketing stunt, but if it wasn't, then hey, props to him. But yeah, absolutely. Do you have? I mean, I know you own an ape, and you probably own some other NFTs that you own full IP rights for. Is there anything that you're? I mean, you don't need to spill the beans. You don't need to share your secrets, but even just a yes or no. But is there anything that you're thinking about doing to use the IP that you own for your ape or any other NFT, or you just kind of or not yet? We haven't crossed that path yet.
I got something in the works. I got, I just closed my first round of investment here, private funding, and no, I'm just kidding. But to be honest, I haven't done anything. I've changed the clothes on our apes for non-fungible alpha.
Right.
If I did do something, it'd probably be with my ape, probably some story about some bored baby butler or something like that. But I haven't started that. I don't think that's something necessarily that I want to pursue. In terms of a storyteller, I'm not too much of a storyteller. I'd rather just like license it out and let somebody else do it, and that's kind of what drew me to Jenkins in the first place. Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I'm not creative at all. So I'm not creative. I'm not really good at like writing a backstory or building up this IP and building something around it. So yeah, like you said, the only thing I would probably do in the future is license my Bored Apes out for maybe I've got some people down in Texas I know that they have their own brewing company, so maybe I get with them and we can like make a beer around one of my apes or a couple of my apes, and those are like on the cans, which would be kind of cool. But that's a pretty low hanging fruit. Like we've seen like the Bored Coffee Company. We've seen these like people just using Bored Apes as branding, which is pretty easy. I've shot my shot. I've tweeted at Jimmy John saying, "Yo, you guys got that freaky fast delivery. Well, I got a cheetah ape that's freaky fast. So let's link up and hey, you can use my ape as your delivery driver. You can be freaky fast." And I haven't heard back yet, but we're still waiting. I'm still hopeful. Maybe me and Jimmy Johns can work out a deal.
Yeah, I like that one.
I mean, could you imagine a commercial like the ape driver in the car hops out and I mean, hey, I can just see it, but balls in their court. Offers on the table. I don't know how much longer. So Jimmy Johns, if you're listening, if you're watching, you probably have a week left before I pull my offer.
Oh, you know what I wanted to shout out? Was probably like NF Teams, and then the fan controlled football one.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. So if you look up here, like let's see, FCF. So fan controlled football, and then they got the Ballers Collective. Ballers Collective. So the Ballers Collective is RL teams governed by NFTs. So you have fan controlled football, which is a pre-existing league, but then through the use of the NFTs that they just released last month, that's how the teams are going to be governed. So that IP is kind of baked into the FCF Ballers Collective. You'll see like some of the teams here. We have Bored Apes, Gutter Cat, Steve Aoki, and Knights of Degen. So these brands are all baked into that sports league now. The other thing is NF Teams, which is a league itself as well, but it's like NFT native, where it's like started out as NFTs. It was not existing before, and they've built some of their the IP that they own into, like, obviously the team or the organization owns this ape, and then they changed up some of the traits and attributes and clothing on there, which now they're allowed to do because they own this ape right here that we're looking at. So those are two like gamification or sports things that are related to that IP. And then we've heard the rumors of collectives coming together, whether it's Gutter Cats, Bored Apes, Robotos, I don't know who, but coming together and trying to purchase like a semi-professional team or a professional team. I think the guy from Metahero, I think the guy from Meta Hero is doing something like that, where they're trying to purchase a professional soccer team.
Interesting. Yeah, now, I'm looking forward to seeing, NFTs and sports, and like if we're ever going to see a DAO take over a team or anything like that, and maybe Dallas Cowboys can turn into the Dallas Bored Apes, right?
Yep. Do we have? Oh, we have like the segments upcoming, right?
Yep, we got segments
Cool.
upcoming. Did you have anything else to talk about this, or are you good?
I guess there's one thing that I wanted to say, or two things that I just wanted to share.
Sure.
In terms of potential alpha, I don't know. It's not really alpha at this point because they're all kind of close. But two things I wanted to put on your radar. So if you're not really paying attention, or like you're across the room, get back, take a look at these, put them down, take notes. This is the quantum key. So JVB reminded me of this because it's been in the Proof Collective. But a single quantum key. So they want to be kind of like the premium curation for NFT photography, essentially. So quantum key is somewhat like Proof Collective. I'm not going to say it's going to go to 30 ETH, but it's for photography, right? So curated collections and partnerships with renowned photographers, and then this is how you're going to get access to their mints. So won't go over all the details, but that is quantum.art. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat. And yeah, Kinko said 1 ETH. That's crazy. But I guess in terms of the photographers that they're bringing in and who you're going to get access to, I'm sure that their like collection floor price is far above 1 ETH. Mm-hmm. So this one is one to pay attention to, especially at 1,111 pieces. There's honestly not that many.
Yeah. Because they could do something similar to Proof and do like an artist like blind reveal thing, and you'd have Justin Aversano from Twin Flames, but you'd have Drifter Shoots.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd have John Knopf. All these famous NFT photographers can come into this collection as well and give you access to that. So that's cool. I like that.
So it's 1,000 dropping on Wednesday, March 9th for 1 ETH. The other one that's not necessarily for flipping, but it's going to be like a competitor, or they want to be some type of competitor to Discord, is a place called Circle. And they don't have a website. They don't have it. Obviously, they're not going to have a Discord at the moment. They're going to release something else. But their Circle list opens soon. So this is going to be kind of like a crowdfunding for the application that they have. They already have UI, UX. Like they have a design kit. They have a behind the walls application that they're already testing out. But this is at 7,000 followers. I think lifetime access is going to be like 0.05. I think they're going to let you mint how many ever you want. So it's something to keep your eye on, especially because we know how bad Discord is for like managing NFT projects. And so for me, I'm looking at platforms, I'm looking at tools, I'm looking at infrastructure, I'm looking at payment solutions. And that's the stuff I look at versus like other, like just another PFP. So yeah, just wanted to shout that out. I'll put the Twitter in, and you guys can follow along with those two.
Yeah, those are some good shout outs. Looking forward to those. All right, well, we said it earlier, we got some segments coming up. So our first one, we got a little knowledge for normies. All right, we've done this before. Me and Jeremy give each other a little word, NFT lingo word, and we just kind of we break it down for the layman's. We break it down for someone that's listening that may not know what that is. In the past we've done blockchain. We did, Jeremy did IPFS last week or 2 weeks ago. So we got a couple more words. So Jeremy, you want me to go first? You want to go first? How do you want to do it this week?
Let's have you go first.
Okay.
What about we do? Wait, let's see. Let me get my emojis ready. Hold on. Do we have that one here? Let me get the emojis ready. Oh no, you know what? We took that one off. And we made it something else. All right. Well, the word is FUD. Can you explain FUD to the normies?
FUD. Let me tell you, you've asked the right person for FUD. So FUD is, this is what you do whenever a project mints out, and you didn't mint it. You own nothing, and the product, the mint price or the secondary price has skyrocketed now, and you need the price to go down. So what you gotta do is you gotta get on Twitter and you gotta talk bad about the project. You gotta say, hey, the creators are shady. You gotta say, they don't release their IP. You gotta say, hey, maybe there's an issue with the contract. You gotta make up all the stuff to get the price to come down, and then you can buy in at a cheaper price, and then you can stop, talking bad about them, and then eventually, say, hey, actually, this project is a banger. You guys should buy in right now, and then pump your bags. So that's what FUD is, right?
Yeah, I mean, FUD is something Beanie is good at, right? You and Beanie, that's how you guys relate.
Yeah. So what actually, I'll break down what actually FUD is. So that's the influencer version of FUD. If you see someone FUDing it, they're probably going to buy it later at a cheaper price. But so FUD stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And it's basically, it's this term thrown around that if someone talks negatively about a project, then they're FUDing it. They're spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But the thing about FUD is, it's been kind of skewed. It's viewed as a negative thing. Like we always hear of, project creators just saying stop FUDing it, or you don't listen to the FUD out there. It's, anyone that FUDs is going to be banned. But I think there's good FUD out there. But then also, I think the good FUD isn't FUD. Because I think where the actual FUD comes in through the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, if you take that literally, you're spreading, something that you don't really know is true, right? But if you look into a project and you see a faulty contract, you see owner, or you see creators of the project that have just jumped from cash grab to cash grab to cash grab. And if I talk negative about it, I'm not uncertain. I'm certain that it's a bad project, right? So I don't think that's FUD. That's just spreading facts and trying to bring people aware to it. So I think that the FUD's kind of caught a bad name. That's just the general, don't listen to the FUD out there. But FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, it's out there in the NFT world. You're going to see it all over the place. It's pretty popular in new projects where they come out and just say, hey, don't listen to the FUD. Stop FUDing, or don't bring that FUD in here.
Yeah.
That's one of our red flags. If someone goes into a project and asks, like, "Hey, I saw this in the contract. I'm kind of worried about this. Can you help me? Can you help explain, why you guys did this?" Then the creator will come back and say, "Stop, bring that FUD in here. You're banned." That's a red flag. So there's a little middle ground. There's good FUD, there's bad FUD, but the bad FUD is just going to be you're spreading lies, you're spreading misinformation about projects that's not actually true.
Yeah, and like you said, the way that it can be used as a tool sometimes is like people want into a project, but then they want in at a lower cost, so they're going to go ahead and FUD it to try to bring that floor down while they're scooping it on either their main or like an alt wallet. Mm-hmm. So you do have to kind of like sift through it a little bit and see what's true, what's not. And that's why it's important for you guys to have like a good foundation, a good strategy, and a good understanding of these projects to be able to see through the FUD or the FOMO, right? Like, hey, why are 8 out of 10 of the people that I know buying into this project? Should you buy it because of that, or like should you be able to understand the reason why? And so that's the opposite. That's kind of like FOMO, which we won't get into, but these two things together, FUD and FOMO, are used to kind of I don't want to use the word manipulate and like it's a bad moral thing or it's like illegal, but it is a tool to manipulate the floor price of these markets and collections. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Cyber Brokers is way overpriced. I'm gonna need you guys to bring that price down, okay? But no, that's well said. It's just it's fun. It's used to manipulate people in the market for in NFTs. It's been kind of carried away. It's got the extremes on both ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm gonna need you to break down. I keep going to these events in real life. I keep seeing these like QR codes to scan. I go into these Twitter Spaces and I see these things, and I need you to break down what is I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Pope? Is it POAP? I need you to let me know what's the truth behind there.
It is POAP, and
don't tell JVB that.
Yeah, I know, and I think they have said it on their site. I think it was in a fact somewhere, like in a blog post, and then they've described it like, okay, it is POAP, and so yeah, sorry for all the Pope believers out there, or however else that you described it, but basically what a POAP is, or what it stands for, is Proof of Attendance Protocol. So Proof of Attendance Protocol is, again, native to a blockchain, You actually mint these for free, like almost gasless, until you migrate them over to like the Ethereum blockchain, because they're not minted on the Ethereum blockchain. So proof of attendance protocol, this is currently like a brand, almost kind of like we call a tissue like a Kleenex, right? Like, hey, can you give me a Kleenex? And you're really talking about a tissue, because it could be whatever brand, but you don't really care. That's kind of like POAP at the moment, but they did secure like that proof of attendance protocol. So if somebody builds something else, it may have to be called something different. But what this allows you to do is at either an IRL event, online event, or like a podcast, YouTube, via a secret phrase, you can go onto the POAP application and prove that you were there at that event, because there was no other way that you could have gotten the POAP, right? There's some methods like where Trucon's listening to a Twitter space or a podcast, and then he sends me, hey, here's a secret phrase. So in that sense, it doesn't really do the job, because I wasn't really there. I just got the secret phrase from somebody else, right? But that's the intent of it, and it definitely works that way in terms of like the metaverse and IRL. So like physical meetings or locations where you have to be there in order to get your POAP token. So what a POAP token is, though, in terms of visually, it is like a little badge, like a little sticker with some artwork on it that basically resembles the event, or is trying to portray the event that you were at. So I got TrueCon pulled up here. TrueCon in 2022 has already collected about 45 POAP tokens.
And there's actually only been 46 POAPs made this year too, so he's almost got them all, right?
He's only missed one. So this man is just grinding POAPs at the moment. Here's 2021 for Mr. TrueCon. TrueCon got a lot of POAPs out here. This man farms. I'm pretty sure he has a scholarship program at the moment for POAPs. So this isn't all TrueCon.
I think Mtol is part of that. What's cool about POAPs is I'm pretty sure you can select like a limit, right? Like you can say, hey, only the first 50 people that claim this can actually receive the POAP.
Yeah.
So you can limit it.
Mm-hmm. There's tons of mechanics that you can do in terms of being able to redeem your POAPs. And then the technology doesn't stop there, right? It's not, okay, yeah, I got my I voted sticker. Well, it's now, let me go back to TrueCon's POAPs, and let's see. This one was a Tropics DJ Discord party in the Cool Mans. So now, if Cool Mans was to do another merch release later on, and maybe there's a collab between this Tropics DJ, or maybe there's no collab. Anyways, they can say this POAP token is what gets you makes you eligible to purchase this merchandise item, because that's on the blockchain and it's tied to your wallet. So you log in to the merchandise store with your wallet, and if you have this POAP, now you're eligible to purchase it. So there's stuff like that where, because you can prove that you were at an event, you attended something, you got some piece of knowledge. And again, POAPs are probably going to be popular because, let's say you take training courses, and then at the end of the training course, you're going to be able to prove that you made it all the way through, or passed with a certain percentile. And then now, that's going to qualify you to move on to the next thing. So POAP technology is kind of limitless, and that's one of the big benefits of blockchain at the moment.
Yeah, TrueCon's already said, one of his POAPs got him free merch. So it's, that one right there. So that's cool. That's a way that these brands can use POAPs to bring more utility to their listeners, viewers, and they can just do it for free too. It's not like you're having to be on the expensive Ethereum blockchain. It's a good way to reward your listeners, your viewers, your customers. You can get so creative with this if you're a big brand, or if you're just a project, or whoever you are. If you have an audience, it's a good way to reward your audience, your followers, or whoever, and reward them in the future. Yeah,
and POAPs, they were minted, and this is for free. You don't have to go to an event and then pay $5 to mint your POAP token. It's all free, and that's because they were minted on the XDAI chain, which is now rebranding into the Gnosis chain. After the merger. But when you want to bring it back to the Ethereum blockchain, which we've seen, just to give you an example, is the rockets by Tom Sachs. So people, you were only eligible to mint or get that sale or pre-sale access if you had the Tom Sachs Rocket Po app. And because that made that Po app very valuable, and people wanted to be able to be eligible for the sale. So what you can do from here is this token, this Po app is on XDAI, but then you migrate it to the Ethereum blockchain. And then once it's on the Ethereum blockchain, you can be able to sell and trade that. You can even sell it on XDAI, but there's a bigger market on the Ethereum blockchain. So you can then sell that access to another person. So maybe I had the Tom Sachs Rocket Po app and Tagline wasn't there to get it. Tagline says I'm willing to pay 1 ETH to get that to be eligible for the sale. So that's another way Po apps themselves can be valuable.
Yeah, whenever I go through these, our next segment is, rate the trade, and I go through all these NFT trader things. Every now and then I'll see Po apps show up on NFT Trader. They're on NFT Trader, so you can sell Po apps, through NFT Trader. I've seen them being sold for 0.1 and something that someone minted for free. So it's kind of cool. It's very unique and definitely can bring some sneaky value to people.
Mm-hmm.
And TrueCon, I mean, that guy's a Po app whale. Like, all right, so that was our knowledge for normies. Hopefully, maybe you picked up on something. If you've been in the space for a while, you already know what those are. But if you're not, now you know a couple new words. But we've got our usual Monday segment. How we're gonna end our show is rate the trade.
Let's go.
So we're gonna hop into some trade. I tried to bring some. I tried to bring some, weird trades, and this time I tried to bring trades that maybe you and I wouldn't agree on. We've been agreeing too much on trades, and we gotta stop that. All right. So let me pull up our first one. All right, I've got 4 this week for us. So this first one, we've got 6 ETH, an NFT world
banger.
Whatever this is, do you know what this is?
Nah.
Okay,
no clue.
Whatever this is, we can maybe just count it as a free. This is the free square.
Looks like Mtoli.
Is this your profile picture, Mtoli? So we've got basically an NFT world 6 ETH for this mutant. I think that's it. Yep.
Wait. Okay, the mutant plus 6 ETH?
Nope.
No, 6 ETH plus the NFT
plus the
world.
NFT world, which earlier we saw the NFT world floor is around like 7.8, so close to 8 ETH or something.
Debo says it's Gray Boys.
Okay, Gray Boys. That's good to know. That's a new project for me. I miss a lot of projects.
Is that the equivalent of tossing like 0.2 on top of the trade?
Yes. Let's look it up.
Pull it up here. Gray
Boys floor price is currently okay.
0.94.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a floor price of basically an ETH. So you basically have 7 ETH plus an NFT worlds.
Yeah.
For
a mutant. Is this an M1 or M2? That's M2.
This is an M2, I believe. I think this is. Wait, no, that's. I'm trying to look at that red merch shirt. I think that's the M1 red merch shirt.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Deathbot, whatever skin is M1, or that bot skin.
It's a nice little 7 trait. It's got the earring.
Yeah.
It's a merch. And totally says Macy Easy. Are you in the same?
Macy Easy. Huh. I mean, personally, in my position, I may take the NFT worlds just because I still have a couple mutants and nah, you know what? I'm capping. We're going with the mutant. Nah, we're going with the mutant.
I was gonna let you finish. I was gonna call it your cap, but yeah, we're taking the mutant here every time because you can always turn around, sell that M1 because that's not a floor mutant. It's got a merch shirt. You could sell that for probably close to 20 ETH right now or something. You can buy NFT world and keep the profit, right?
It was the Gray Boys for me. I mean, forget the 6 ETH, forget the NFT worlds. The upside of Gray Boys.
Hey. You never know. But if you turn that 6 ETH into 6.2 ETH, now it's a different story. You add that 0.2. Yeah, I think for me it's the Macy. Looks like Chad's all saying Macy as well.
Yeah, it's not. I don't like the look of this mutant, but it doesn't really matter. It's a mutant.
This is what I'd probably get, and I'd probably try to sell immediately.
Trade.
Either buy one I like better or buy it into something else. But all right, let's move on to our next one. So we've got a dog, Clone X, another Clone X. Oh yeah, this one gets spicy. Oh. So that was, let's just recap. That's 3 mutants, 2 Clone X, and a Bored Ape Kennel Club. So it's a little 3, 2, 1. And what do they get? Cheetah fur, baby. They got a cheetah ape. It kind of looks like BSB's ape a little bit with a different hat. So I don't know. We got a cheetah ape for 3 mutants, 2 Clone X's, and a Bored Ape dog. What side are you taking? That's a spicy trade. That's a big boy one.
I think it's a fair trade, right? Like in terms of value, like roughly. And we, of course, again, we don't know these two people's situations, but it seems like it could be fair value. I'm gonna take the 2 Clone X's though. Like I like being exposed to both projects here, in terms of mutants and Clone X. But the cheetah ape pretty clean.
Yeah, it's this is a clean. Oh, I like this mutant a lot. This one's a clean one. Man, that's tough. So you're taking the package deal over the 1 ape, right? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. But
Okay.
cheetah fur, cheetah gang. I don't know. They're
I
a
was about to
different
say,
breed.
This is one that we're going to disagree on. I'm taking the ape. Give me that cheetah fur. Give me that cheetah fur all day.
Yeah.
I'd rather own an ape rather than that package. But it looks like you said package. Kenkelfarks has package as well. You got more exposure. The package could be a good play for ape coin too. Like if it is if the ape coin is like 3 to 1 from mutants to apes, you basically get the value of the ape and ape coin, but you also get the Clone X's and the dog thrown on the top.
You know, if somebody doesn't have a Bored Ape and they're like, okay, it's definitely out of reach, like those are all plays that could have been made to get yourself into Bored Ape. So if that's the case, like GG's to this guy that traded the package away. You know, if he really wanted to be in Bored Apes that much, you could have got the 2 Clone X's for about 2-3 ETH each. The Bored Ape, the Kennel Club, about an ETH, and then what was it? 2 mutants. So 2 mutants, you could have got anywhere from like 2.5 to 3.5 ETH. So again, like you got yourself into Bored Apes now for, I don't even know, 15 ETH or less.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely a fair trade. It's one I'm still wrestling with. Like I can make an argument for both. I'm just taking the ape because it's above floor because it's cheetah fur. And obviously I'm a cheetah fur ape, so I'm a little bit biased. Take that with a grain of salt. If this was just a regular floor ape with like crazy eyes and whatever, I'm probably taking the package. But I think this one's slightly above floor. All right, so we disagreed. I'm happy. I'm so proud of us. We finally disagreed. Yeah, let's see if we can keep going. We're gonna see how many we can disagree on. All right, this next one, we've got 18 ETH and a dog.
18 ETH and a dog for a vial. Oh
For
no!
a vial.
Oh no! No, I'm taking the 18 ETH and a dog.
Yeah.
Straight up. I already know.
The only reason I include this one is because we just talked about the vials, I think, last week. So I thought it was just interesting. It was such a weird combination, like 18 ETH and the Kennel Club for a vial. But yeah, I'm taking the 18 ETH and the Kennel Club all day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You have to be an extreme like gambling addict or really well off and comfortable to be able to take a roll for the vial.
Yeah, I mean, what a play! If you would have just minted a bunch of these Clone X vials and just held on to them this whole time, like you,
Wild.
All right, last trade. We got a cheetah fur. Can you tell I made these trades? I found all the cheetah fur ones, not on purpose. These are just the ones that came out. But this is a cheetah fur ape with the merch shirt.
Merch, black merch. Let's go.
And they get 16 ETH.
16 ETH. Oh.
And another ape. So this is kind of, it's not like a huge package, but it's how much more do you value the difference between these two apes? So it's basically you got this ape, cheetah, merch shirt, got the board kazoo, which is a kind of a rare trait
Pretty
as well.
rare, yeah.
The bunny ears, I could do without the bunny ears, but and they trade it for the 16 ETH plus a pretty clean ape. Also, this is a very, I mean, it's your cowboy ape. I know you in Texas. This is a Texas ape right
Pickle.
here. Yeah, this is Pickle. Yeah.
This is the Pickle ape. Personally, man, I don't know what the floor is for this type of ape. So like the merch part is the thing that's, you know, really weighing on me right now. It's because do I give up that merch shirt?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like when I look at these personally, I'll go with the cowboy hat and or keeping the cowboy hat in 16 ETH versus having the cheetah. But then, you know, the unknown to me is like how much is that premium for the black merch and that kazoo? I mean, cheetah's always clean, but the merch shirt plus the kazoo.
Mm-hmm. Let's pull that cheetah up again. I just think like I wish the background was a little bit different, but the black merch with like the cheetah fur just looks so clean together, paired together. I think me personally, I don't know. I guess if I'm looking at this trade right now with my current bag, I already have like my cheetah ape that has a merch shirt. This exact same, you know, cheetah fur merch shirt. If I had that, I'm gonna take the cowboy hat and the 16th if I have my current bag. But let's say if I only have one of these two apes, if I had to pick like between these two to be one of my only ape, I'm probably gonna stick with the cheetah. But if I have multiple ones, I'm taking the cowboy hat and the 16th. But if it's my only ape, I'm going with the kazoo, cheetah, merch shirt.
Well, it's like I'm pretty sure the next cheetah ape to get married, like in real life, all you guys are invited. It's like cheetah gang, cheetah family.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
One guy made I guess this isn't a cheetah thing, but you know, someone made the orange beanies, and if you had an orange beanie, you could just DM them on Twitter. They're gonna send you a basey, you know, personalized beanie that they made for free. They'll just mail it to you for free. So you're kind of part of a cheetah gang. You're part of this inner circle club. And the cowboy hat, I mean, cowboy hat's a nice trait, but you know, you're not really exclusive.
No, well, I mean, there's nothing like that. Nothing like cheetah and DMT and.
Well,
I don't even know what goldskins do, but like
goldskins just they have their they got their private Discord, but they I've heard stories about the gold ape Discord, and they like themselves a lot. I'll just say that, I guess.
Yeah, it just seems a lot more individual based.
Big fans of themselves.
Yeah, it's like they get together to talk about themselves, though.
So what's your final decision? Are you taking the cheetah?
I'm taking the cowboy hat, brother.
Taking the cowboy hat? Okay. Gotta keep those Texas roots.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Well, that is it for Rate to
Take the boy
Trade.
out the country, but you can't take the country out the boy.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about IP. If you got a cowboy hat ape and you live in Texas, you got your opportunities are endless for licensing that IP out to people.
Yep. Shout out Matthew A.
Yep. All right. Well, Jeremy, anything else? I know you already had some shout outs. You got anything else on your mind? Any news or notes or any vibes to send out?
Another one to kind of pay attention to, I guess. And, you know, there is some FUD about this one, which is Murray. But Murray NFT, that's tied to the House project. This is shortly after Azuki came out. They didn't spin off, or I guess it is a spin off, but like House has their PFP kind of collection, which is Murray. But again, because it came out shortly after Azuki, this kind of got caught up in the FUD of, it's another anime, like copy pasta project. You know, it's using the same colors, which is like almost every anime brand uses red, by the way, like a blood red. So, I mean, even Azuki copied colors. But if it's too late for Azuki, you don't have that type of bankroll, pay attention to Murray. I think they're going to do like a Dutch auction starting at 0.3 ETH or something like that, or 0.5. Yeah. It's going to happen here pretty shortly. It's going to be 0.3. Yeah, 0.3.
Yeah. You're on the whitelist for that, right? The allow list?
Have the allow list, but that's because I owned the house phases. So really, I bought into house as a project. I didn't buy into Murray, but I bought into house. But I do get an allow list for Murray.
Yep.
That's why I'm gonna watch it myself. If the numbers make sense in terms of like secondary and whatnot, then I'll go ahead and mint. So I want to see how fast like this stage 1 goes and what the market health is after that. I'm not completely sold on Murray. I love anime, but again, I think there's just so much like FUD, and it's gonna be like, knockoff Azuki and all this other stuff that there may be another chance to get in.
Yeah.
But the creator or the team over there at House is doing some pretty impressive stuff. So that's why I'm still interested, because I would have wrote this one off as well. But knowing the background of House, that's what keeps me here, like, just staying updated with them.
Yeah, I've got allow list for that as well. I got through a separate Discord. Someone knew the creator, and they were able to get some spots, and I was able to land one of those. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Murray. It's going to be a good one. We saw the FUD with Azuki's. People said the whole time, like during the mint, during the reveal, like, oh, these are just knockoff Onis. These are knockoff Onis. But, they kind of overcame that FUD. So I'm not too worried about the knockoff FUD, because it's just something that everyone deals with. But yeah, we'll see. That'll be a fun one to track. Since we both have a allow list, I'm sure we'll talk about it more on stream, and whenever it gets closer to minting and reveal, we can kind of go through more of that.
Yeah, but to be honest, even if I didn't have a allow list here, it's still one that I'm watching, because they didn't say, okay, it's an ETH, it's a 2 ETH Dutch auction. Like, they even started at a reasonable price, right? Or, it's still way over 0.08, which is, obviously what Bored Apes minted for. There's always going to be FUD for anything that mints for above 0.08. But in terms of what recent projects have minted out at, like, this is honestly not too bad. It's not unreasonable. I wouldn't be a buyer at 0.3 straight away. Maybe if it got down to 0.2 or 0.15, cool. Maybe for that. So that's my approach for those of you who are wondering, like, maybe how to handle it. If you didn't have allow list, maybe 0.15, but that's if you really believe in that, and then also the creator of the team. Yeah. And then something that's not alpha, but just a little quick shout out. If you're paying attention to our Twitter this morning, you'll know that Immutable ended another round of funding, and they raised $200 million this last round at a valuation of $2.5 billion.
Whew.
Billion with a B, like Bravo.
Spicy.
Yeah. And so I think the IMX token got a little pump from that. I'm not sure what it's at right now. I'm sure it will dump. I'm not telling you to go buy IMX tokens, but if you wanted to check that out and follow along, feel free. These Immutable is from the owners and creators of the Immutable Exchange, Gods Unchained, Guild of Guardians. They're an Australian-based team where they've built this IMX chain that is supposed to do a lot more procedures per second, operations per second. They're green friendly, not in terms of marijuana, but in terms of energy used for the blockchain.
Right.
So they're doing big things apparently. You can't raise 200 million at that evaluation without showing those investors what you got cooking. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know about Immutable, now you know.
Good shout. Absolutely. Well, I think that's everything we have planned. We're right in this hour and a half time frame, so we'll be back here Wednesday, same time, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We got some more plans, but please hit us up on Twitter. I'll probably put a tweet out today from our chat, but we need some more ideas of a pick'em. What's gonna be our pick'em, and then also we have to decide who from the chat is gonna represent pick'em this week. We had BSB last week. He did a fantastic job. Who's gonna step up to the plate? Is it gonna be Mtoli, or is he gonna kind of, shy away from it? Then once we pick someone else, act like we didn't pick him. He's kind of a little shady guy. You don't know if you want that, but Mtoli says Chili. Maybe we get Chili come up here. So let us know. Maybe what should we pick him, and also who should represent the chat. We'll figure that out. And until then, as always, be your own alpha.
Be your own alpha.
BYOA.
Yes, y'all have a good one. Happy Monday.
Yep. Peace.
See ya.